Too many times, I speak to a lot of people get in calls with me because they want my help. And when we talk about what their training is at the moment, they're doing exactly the same training as their teammate. And their teammate might not be a fast bowler, might be a batter or a spinner or a wicketkeeper. A poor action with a poor back foot contact, the poor transition to front foot, which means lateral flexion. And when we see that, we know that injuries around the corner. And then what we see, particularly in India, is guys bowl too much. They're bowling hours and hours every day. The real heart and the real force of will to become a fast bowler. You take a week, say, and go through the content, write it all down, you'd be able to put together your own program. We look back to Shoaib Akhtar, he used to bowl with heavy rocks. If your why is strong enough, there's a way to sort it out. There's no point being in the gym all day, every day, and hardly working on your skill, because that's not going to transfer. You need to be hitting the sweet spot for getting transference in your game, and that's the key, and understanding again.
Hello, guys. I hope all of you are doing good. And actually, this is our new podcast in which we're going to talk about how you can actually, as a cricketer, improve yourself, especially in your fitness and in your skill sets also, right? And actually, this is an English podcast for the first time on our channel. We like earlier we used to do podcasts in Hindi, but this is the first time we are doing podcasts in English. And we have our one of the best guests today with us, which is Ross sir. And Ross sir has already an Instagram page over cricket strength, right? And actually is one of the best fast bowler content creator, and actually a strength and conditioning coach. He provides very scientific knowledge on his channel and on his Instagram page. So hello sir, how are you?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. You?
Yeah, and yeah, thank you so much, sir, for being in us. Because ultimately, the only aim of this like podcast is to spread scientific and practical knowledge, so it can go to every the cricket buddy, so they can actually their decision making, and especially in cricket, and it could improve. Because I have seen that a lot of people are getting injured, a lot of people are getting mentally fatigued, right, because of their unscientific ways.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad practice going out, and it's hurting fast bowlers a lot.
Yeah. Okay. And so, like, I have some questions for you. Like, what do you think? Like, what are the reason that a lot of fast bowler, and not just fast bowlers, a lot of cricketers, right, are getting a lot of injuries, and right, they're not able to sustain their career, right?
Yeah.
So, what are
For
your take
me,
on that?
it is very simple. Like I said, there's a lot of bad training going on, and there's a lot of very poor coaching going on. And it's about understanding the player and what the player needs. Too many times, I speak to a lot of people get in calls with me because they want my help. And when we talk about what their training is at the moment, they're doing exactly the same training as their teammate. And their teammate might not be a fast bowler, might be a batter or a spinner or a wicketkeeper. And there's just too much of the same training going on, generic type training given to everyone, and the individual isn't being looked at. So, I mean, what we do, first thing we do is assess how the person moves. Then we know how they work. It's like a car. If your car's not working well, you take it to the garage, they look at the engine. But in cricket, if you're not working well, you're just given the same exercises as everyone else. And they, sometimes it might work, but a lot of the times those aren't the exercises that you as an individual need. So what we see then is when the body doesn't work well, it comes out in the action, and a poor action with the poor back foot contact, the poor transition to front foot, which means lateral flexion. And when we see that, we know that injuries around the corner. But it's not getting stamped out, because what happens is then a bowler will get injured with a side strain, a hammy, a groin, or hopefully not, but a lot of times a stress fracture. Then all they're told to do is rest, and they repeat the same cycle. They rest, they let the fracture heal, which it will do with rest, but they're not changing anything. So the action will be the same, or maybe a little bit worse, because all they've done is rest and then added strength training to rest. So we're not actually changing the mechanics of how the body works. And if the mechanics of how the body works doesn't change, then the action won't change, because the action is only there because of how the body works. And then what we see, particularly in India, is guys bowl too much. They're bowling hours and hours every day. And if you're doing that on an action which isn't optimal because of a body which isn't functioning, is only going to end up, unfortunately, one way, and that's going to be injury.
Okay. And actually, this is a very valid point, as you said that Especially I would say in India, um, like cricketers have started doing working on their fitness, like because of the Virat Kohli, right? Before
Yep.
that, people like cricketers weren't focusing on fitness in India, right? It was a sport which is based on like the skill set, right?
Yeah.
But after like Virat Kohli improvements fitness in Indian team especially, so people are focusing on like making improving their fitness also, right? But as if you said that yeah, they are working on their fitness, but for them fitness means just like going to gym and doing the same exercise, bench
Yep.
presses, leg presses, and everyone is doing the same, like
Yeah.
a batsman, a wicket keeper, a medium pacer, a spinner, right, a fast
Yeah.
bowler, everyone is doing the same exercise. It's just that they're thinking that they're doing good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're increasing their ego, right? That I'm working on my fitness. I will be selecting in my team one day definitely because I'm working too much, right? And as if you said that they're doing the same, but actually they're not doing what is required for their body fitness, which is not improving their, especially in fast bowling, their bowling action, right? As if you said that. See, I'm not a fast bowler, so I can just tell you on the upper part, right? So and they get injured, you said, because they're not doing what is required, and
Yeah.
they're told to be rest, and
Yeah.
they think that they're improving, right?
And it's, you feel sorry for the player because they're doing the hard work. When I was at Worcester, we had a very prominent Indian spin bowler with us at one point, and I looked at his program, and I winced because I was like, "Oh my God, most of this you shouldn't be doing. You should be nowhere near this as a spinner." Um, but I think from what he said, that a lot of people were doing the same thing, and he worked really hard on what the program he had, but it just shouldn't have been for him at all. So yeah, I feel sorry for the players because they're doing the hard work and not getting their rewards. And again, oftentimes they're getting injured, and it shouldn't be a case of you getting injured whilst working hard. And I remember, when I first came into cricket back in the year 2000, that's how old I am.
Mm,
That
mm,
a lot of people would say, "Oh, that player's too fit. That's why he got injured." And it just blew my mind but when I looked into it, they were almost right, but they were too fit in terms of general fitness. So they'd been doing a general fitness plan instead of a specific one. And when you do that, it doesn't align to what you're trying to do as a fast bowler, or even a cricketer. Again, if we go back to analogies about cars, you wouldn't send a mini metro into a sprint race, against a Ferrari.
mm,
Different cars,
mm.
different engines, the way they work's different. You wouldn't work on the both cars the same. So that's why we need
Mm.
to really understand the individual, and even then the individual within the space of fast bowling, because no two fast bowlers are exactly the same. So again, it all goes back to understanding the person, understanding what they need, and not just saying what happened so much. Oh, you're a bowler, so you need to get stronger. Of course, we want strength, it's crucial, but strength on dysfunction equals a quicker injury. So we need to get the dysfunction and the issues right first.
Okay, okay. As if you said that it is very important to look at the individual rather
Yeah,
than just copying the same program to everyone in terms of saying that you're improving your fitness. You have to work hard, right? And actually,
exactly.
you said that exact truth that cricketers are very hardworking. It's not like
Yeah,
that they're lazy or like that. They're very hardworking. They're very
yep,
desperate to perform at the well level, but they're still getting injured because of the planning works, I guess. They're and actually there's a very less resources, especially like in today's like era from last 2 to 3 years after COVID. There's a very boost in the cricket content, especially right on Instagram, on YouTube, and this is the one of the best part that happened to, right? Because people are getting more aware about that, how their body works. Before that they were just doing in terms of like if someone have the luxury to go to gym, they were just bench pressing and squatting and all of these things. And if one doesn't have the luxury, he will do just push-ups, squats, and all these kind of basic exercise, and they are thinking that they're actually improving themselves, right?
yeah,
So that was the thing, right, before. But after this COVID happened, like content creator like you that are putting scientific knowledge across a platform, actually it is helping a lot. And I think especially as a cricketer, if you have the luxury to hire a SSC coach, is the best part you can do.
Yeah, good one. I mean, like you said, there is a lot of content online now. But what I would say to people is just be very careful who you follow and who you listen to.
Exactly.
And one of the big things to do is, if you're seeing a page which is trying to tell you the exercises you need to do, just look at who they've worked with, who have they helped, how many players have they helped. Because the easiest thing, anyone could start a page today and just go into a few accounts and copy exercises and things like that. But unless there's actually a backstory and quite a lot of testimonials of people they've helped, just be very wary. Like there's a lot of scammers on shopping channels and things like that. You pay your money and you
Hmm.
never get your product. It's very, very murky. Some of the backgrounds of trainers that pop up and they start. I know I'm very good friends with Steph Jones, and he's had a lot of his
Hmm.
stuff copied, and then people abuse him. And it's like, well, you can't copy all this stuff and then abuse him. It's crazy. So, yeah, it's a bit of a murky world. So just make sure you go on there and you see actually some testimonials and things which have actually worked rather than just exercises.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that's one of the, I think the plus point of more content and the negative point of more content also. Yeah, we are seeing that content is increasing, and that's a very good point because we are able to get more cricket information. But there is one thing that less is more. More is not less, right?
Yep. Yep.
So we have to very careful of what type of content we are consuming, right? Because as you said, I have also seen some people. I won't take names, right? They are producing a lot of content and actually they have a lot of followings also, but when you see what are they telling, it is so much basic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are just they are just copy pasting the content from some books they have read. Actually, I have read some books also on functional training and some other kind of patterns also to like develop my own self, right? So this is very important. And whoever cricket is listening to us, please take care of any kind of um, like fitness trainer or like psychologist, right? Whenever you're trying to get some kind of advice from them, even it is free, so just look at them, what type of people they have helped earlier, or do they have any kind of certifications, because actually certifications like validate that they know something, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's very important.
Yeah. 100%.
Exactly. And so I have a question also that, like, especially in India, I think you will also getting a lot of DMs from Indians, right? So I can predict what are the DM mostly. They will say that, sir, I want to improve my fast bowling, I want to improve this, but I don't have the budget.
Yeah. 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 I mean, one of the one of the really frustrating ones is when you get a message and it says,
Hmm.
"I want to know the best exercise for fast bowling, or what's the
Hmm.
best exercise for bracing my front leg and things like that." And the fact is, there's no best exercise for anything. It's a case
Hmm.
of one exercise which might work for a brace for one player won't work for someone else, and because again we have to understand the sort of functionality of getting to that front leg brace, of how it's all about maybe how you run, how the foot is contacting the floor, where it's contacting the floor, is it in front of your COM or behind, how your back foot is contacting the floor, how we transition with the hips and in the pivot, and so that there's so many things involved, and too many just want. It's amazing because like we say, they might be bowling an hour a day, but then they want to shortchange the way they improve. And the way you improve isn't just bowling; it's by understanding how to improve your body, and then how to
Hmm.
specifically improve your action. So yeah, there's a lot of, and like you say, a lot of people can't afford to take on a bowling coach, but that's why my response to that is, well, have a look at the free content. I've done cricket strength for 10 years. There's 10 years worth of free content which I've shared. And some of the best messages I get are from guys who have said, I've never joined your plan, but I've got so much out of just the content that you share, on Instagram and
Hmm.
YouTube.
Hmm.
And from there, you can make, if you've got the real heart and the real force of will
Bill.
to become a fast
Hmm.
bowler, you take
Hmm.
a week, say, and go through the content, write it all down, you'd be able to put together your own program. And that's what the content's there for. But obviously,
Hmm.
a lot of people don't want to. They want me to do it for them, but then say they
Hmm.
don't want
Hmm.
to join a plan. So it's like, well, No, I've put the free I've done the work. I've done 23 years of work, so
Hmm.
and shared it with you. So now it's up to you to go through it and take out what you need, and that's the key.
Exactly, and exactly. Actually, that's the truth also because, and it applies to everyone. Like, see, if you else like if anyone also want to have clients for their program, they have to first of all showcase that they actually know something and whatever they're telling that works, right? And which
Yeah,
is in terms of free content, right? And
yeah,
if someone actually like for as of myself, like actually I'm right now I'm 22, but like at 19 or 18, at 18 I was when I was 18, I wasn't having that luxury to hire a SNC coach, right?
yeah.
So what I did, I start reading books about fitness. Like as I said, that I read about functional training. I don't know the name of the writer. I think it's Michael Ball. I guess he was like that.
Mike Ball, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that functional training 2.0. I read that book, and
yeah, yeah,
after that, I have also read that recovery book. If you know that, I don't know the writer's name. It was like I don't know the name. It was about recovery, like,
yeah.
and I think I have read a lot of content. I have also took a help from you and also took like read a lot of articles on Google's also understanding what is isometric training, what is explosive training, what are the benefit to these kind of access to our body, right? And so I did this kind of lot of research, and after that I was able to experiment it on myself also. And I'm just saying that, see, if you have the luxury to hire a SNC coach, that's the best part. But if you don't have that luxury, don't cry. It just you have to put more time in research. You have to
Exactly.
put your more efforts, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%, mate. Yeah,
Yeah. And but actually most of the people don't want it. They want just people just give them the food in front of them. They don't
yeah,
have to select what type of food they have to do, what type the food that works for them. They just want,
yeah,
and if they don't get it, they say that, oh, we have very poor luck in ourselves. We can't become cricketer. Cricket is just sport for luxury people, right? We can't do it, right? They're actually saying like that.
yeah, yeah. But it's all there. All you got to do is just take the time. I remember there was a story about a javelin thrower about 10 years ago who got to the Olympics just from training and watching training on online. So it's out there. It's all out there. So it's just like I said, just taking the time, having a little bit about you to say, right, I want to do this. Because if you do want to do it, nothing stops you. Nothing stops you at
Exactly.
all. So yeah, just do it. In this day and age, where knowledge is so freely available, there is no reason why you shouldn't be doing it. There really isn't. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And yeah, and actually that's why it's quite important to listen to podcasts just like this, and to even read books, right? Because okay, you're getting a lot of information through like YouTube content, Instagram content, but I think if you want to have that level of depth, right, to understand what is in deeply way, I think you should like one which is striving to be a cricketer at the best level, they should start reading books also, because
yep,
it will also help them to like open their mind, right?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Again, it's all out there. There's so much out there that there's no excuse now. It's one of the things that I will help lots of people. Um, Anyone who messages me until they just want stuff for free without them doing anything. Then I'll just say no. Just go and look online and look at the stuff I've done if you really want to do it. So yeah, it's frustrating when you do get quite lazy
Yeah,
people. But, it's just unfortunately it's a bit of it's a fact of life now. So we just have to put up with it a little bit.
yeah, I understand. And so actually this conversation is very, I would say, impactful, and actually we're also like turning off the lot of myths, right? And
Yeah,
this is very important. And actually I have a question for you. Like my question is like that, if someone, if it, if is a if someone want to be a cricketer, and
yeah,
actually they don't have the luxury to like go to a gym, right?
yeah.
So how they can train themselves at home? Is it possible or not? First of all, is it possible? If it is yes,
Very
then
possible.
how?
Very possible. because like, so I was running my one-to-one plan during COVID and lockdown when people had nothing, they literally had no
Yeah.
equipment, and we just had to be really smart about what we could use.
Mm.
If we
Mm.
look back to Shoaib Akhtar, he used to bowl with heavy rocks, so
Huh.
there's
Sure,
always
Bhaskar.
there's things which you can do. You don't need a big gym, you really don't. And oftentimes, the big gyms haven't got the actual equipment that we want. Sometimes we just
Mm.
need a medicine ball and a wall to throw it against. And
Mm.
you don't find it in a lot of gyms, which is crazy. So yeah,
Mm.
don't. Again, if you say I can't do it because of equipment, you need to
Mm.
look around the subject. Everyone's probably seen some of the um, things from Africa where they make their own gym kit out of
Yeah,
rocks
I
and
have seen.
stones, and
Yeah.
and it's just
Mm.
wow. So they've got that right. Okay,
Mm.
I haven't got the kit. I'm going to make it. I'm going to do whatever I can to get it, and that's what
Mm.
it's about. It is making sure that we get it. I mean, I've been at counties where we've had no money to invest in kit. I've had to go on eBay. I've had to sell some
Mm.
bits to get other bits. I could have just
Mm.
sat there and moaned and said, "Oh, we haven't got money, so I can't get it." But I was like, "No, right, I need this. So how can I get it?" So I literally have to sell kit to buy other kit. So yeah, there's always a way. If your why is strong
Mm.
enough, there's a way to sort it out.
Honestly, this is actually some hard truths that people should listen, right? But actually, they're not admitting that because, like, actually, they are seeing that best training, like the England players, the Indian players, they're seeing that they're training so like Olympic lifting and all that, all kind of stuff. So I don't have money. Actually, if you don't have money, just go on money, right? But
Yeah,
they are saying that I don't have money, so I can't do it, right? So I think you can do a lot because like actually I was also having this kind of issue in COVID, right? Because we are not able to go to gym, right? So
yeah,
what I did, I start learning about calisthenics, right? Start learning about calisthenics and I start exploring it, right?
yeah,
What can I, like how like just explore it, right? For the sake of exploring it. So I was able to see that actually calisthenics can also help you in cricket because one of the biggest point of calisthenics is that it helps you to like improve your like core strength a lot because every calisthenic movement need a lot of core strength,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, 100%,
So
100%. And like I said, all the knowledge is out there. You don't have to go far. You don't have to do a lot of homework to find the knowledge. It's there, but it's just that people don't want to take the time. They'd rather watch Netflix for 3 hours and take 3 hours to
yeah,
actually go and learn.
3 hours for crying. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And actually, I also read a lot of books, and like recently I read book of like Michael Phelps' coach, like Bob Bowman, right? And
yeah,
he one of the best book I have seen, right? And actually, he's like actually the book is around like I think like 300 400 like rupees, right? 300 400 is just rupees, and if I talk in dollars, it would be around like $5 to $6, right?
right,
And he's he's giving us a lot of nuggets, right? A lot of nuggets.
yeah,
If one have the willing to actually understand those points and want to improve that thing, they can get it in just $5.
yeah,
World class level coach training in just $5, right?
yeah, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? It's all there for you if you really want it.
Exactly. And sir, I have a question for you that if someone like if someone is listening to this podcast and actually if someone want to like design their own plan, not just the high advanced plan, but if they want to design their own plan, so what could be the steps or what could be the factor they can focus so they can like somewhat design a somewhat basic or medium plan for themselves.
So the first step would be to understand where you are, how you're moving, how that's impacting your bowling, and then how to get the body right to start. You can go online and look at different things like the functional movement systems tests and be able to do
Hmm.
that. And that will give you a basic understanding, just let's say you can't stand on one leg, that would
Hmm.
inform you that you're struggling probably a little bit with stability. When you run, if your feet cross over, again, that would tell you that you're lacking a bit of stability. So,
Hmm.
if you're really tight all the time, do you understand? Is that because of your muscles? Is it the fascia, or is it something more structural, like the pelvis or the rib cage, where You can go in and do simple things like diaphragm breathing and just help release um, the pelvis. So if you're an anterior tilt and the pelvis is forward, you're going to have tight hamstrings. So it's
Hmm.
understanding the basics of your body, and then working from there. But again, go online, have a little look. There's stuff everywhere. But I
Okay.
always start with the body first. And once the body's working well, then before you even start to get really specific with your action, you'll see some great changes.
Okay, so you are saying that first of all we have to test the body. What is the functional movement
Yep.
capability of the body as of now, right?
Yeah.
And you as I said that you can even check online. Like there are some multiple tests.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, does it apply to every type of individual? A batsman, a wicketkeeper,
Yeah.
a spinner,
Batsmen are
right?
batsmen are getting as many back injuries as bowlers now, but they're getting different ones. They're getting ones from flexion when you're bending forward. Obviously, the bowlers is more stress reactions from bending back. But batters, because they don't think they need to do a lot, sometimes they don't get as sort of individual as they need to. So yeah, I'd do it for all cricketers.
Okay, okay. And actually, I have a personal question also. Like, see that as I'm trying to become a state player in like 365 days. So like, and actually, my main focus is like mastering the 50 over format, right? Because the matches would be in 50 overs. So like, so I was seeing that like if we talk about 50 overs, especially as a batsman, that I have seen that most of the highly successful ODI batsmen, like if I talk about like highly ODI successful batsmen like Joe Root, right? Like Kane Williamson, like Virat Kohli and like MS Dhoni also, right? And like Steve Smith. So I have seen that most of them actually like they're getting their scores like hundreds from like singles and doubles. Like their 60% runs are getting from singles and doubles. So
Yeah,
and you know that singles and doubles is mostly about actually running between the wickets with like with coordination, with timing. So actually, I was thinking that if someone want to actually master ODI cricket, so don't don't they focus more on their like sprints and the cardio part of it rather than with the strengthening, because a lot of people are just like strengthening, doing a lot of strengthening, explosive stuff a lot. But if we talk about ODI cricket, you don't need that much of like if someone is like a top order batsman, he doesn't need that much level of like explosive strength because of their sixes and all, because they just want to like rotate the strike and find more force, right? So what do you
yeah,
think about it?
yeah. I mean, again, you need to sort of look at everything. What do you need, as a batter? And of course, in India when it's hot and you want to get 100, you need to still be able to function at the end of the
Hmm.
day. Or you get to 90 and you need 20 to win off 2 overs. You need to be fit enough for the aerobic system to be kicking in and to be able to think clearly. So yeah, everything plays a part. The aerobic system, the anaerobic system for sprints, but then you need the aerobic system for recovery. Then you need the agility, getting in and out. Because if your sprinting's down and you get run out by 2 centimeters, you could cost your team. So
Hmm.
it's a bit of everything, and then again, how you move goes into how quick you're going to be. So again, it all starts with movement and then building from there.
Yeah, yeah. You were saying something, right?
No, 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 that's it. Yeah, start with movement, build out from there. Understand what else you need in for batting. It's pretty much everything you need: strength, power, speed, but aerobic endurance and agility. So just make sure you cover it all off.
Yeah, sure, sir. And actually, sir, like I'm just like talking from my own point of view. Like earlier, I used to like, focus so much on the strengthening, on the like power hitting stuff, because actually I was seeing that like all of that from online. I wasn't seeing that like players was focusing so much on their like cardiac part, so much on their sprints and their like ground training, right?
Yeah,
So I was also doing the same. I was just giving like 1 day to my ground training and like 5 days to that, 5 or 4 days to my like strengthening and all this kind of stuff. But when I start observing the high players, why they're getting averages above 50, why they're performing like like centuries, and I know myself that I'm not a big hitter. I'm not that kind of player that just will go on the ground and just start hitting sixes, like raining sixes. I know that I need time, right? My strength is that I can take more singles and doubles. I can find more fours rather than like hitting sixes. So that's why I was thinking that if I start putting more hours on the ground training rather than my gym training, So I think somewhat it can help me because the movement which I require the most, especially of the ground, especially the strides, is the runs, and is the agility, and is the speed training. So like,
Yeah.
does it work?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's almost what I try and do is get out of the whole separating ground training and gym training and trying to bring them close together because that's where the gold is. But, with batting, with hitting sixes and fours, we've probably all seen players with no real strength be able to hit the ball miles. And it's because they
Hmm.
use their kinetic chain. And the kinetic chain is probably the most underutilized part of the whole game that no one's really training. You see smart trainers train it. Someone like Julian Wood, who's a power hitting coach, talks about it. Obviously, Steph, me, we talk about the kinetic chain. And if that's working, that creates the power for you. So then,
Okay.
but like you said,
Hmm.
there's no point being in the gym all day, every day, and hardly working on your skill because that's not going to transfer. You need to be hitting the sweet spot for getting transference in your game. And that's the key and understanding again, what are you lacking? And then you need to build there.
Okay, and actually you mentioned that kinetic chain, and like if
Yeah.
I'm being right or not, I think the kinetic chain is about that the chains like from the ground, the power you gain from the ground and transfer it to the actually the shot, right?
Yep.
And I think we can acquire it by not leaking the energy because we are actually acquiring the energy from the ground, and if we are taking care of the like if we are taking care of the points that leaks energy, right? We can
Yeah.
actually produce a lot of force. And actually, Bruce Lee used to do that. Have you seen that Bruce Lee, like one punch? He used to
Yeah.
use that
Yeah.
kinetic chain concept in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a video a few months ago about a hose pipe with
Mm.
lots of kinks in it. And then the water would just trickle out. But you get the kinks out of the hose pipe and it's flowing, the
So
water
much
shoots.
powerful.
So, yeah, it's once the body's working how it needs to, and we're utilizing the kinetic chain, for bowling, batting, throwing, keeping, whatever it is, it will improve.
Yeah, actually, this is seems very interesting, but no one actually talks about it. Actually,
No.
no one's actually talk about it.
Because the easy thing to do is talk about strength because strength is easy. Anyone can put on strength. Anyone can tell you to do that. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, for me, it's about accountability as well. And I don't want to go to a coach and say, right, well, I progressed his squat from 100 to 140 kgs. I've done my job. That's not your job.
Hmm.
Your job is to make sure that they can function at a high level when they're playing. That's it. And that's all. Like training, rehab, prehab, whatever you're doing, it has to come
Hmm.
out on the pitch for the player. If it doesn't, then why are you doing it? It is always the key, and it's a big thing. I talk to players and say, if you're being asked to do something, go back and ask why. If they can't then answer why, you shouldn't be doing it because they don't understand why they're getting you to do it.
Okay, okay, I understand good point. And it's very, and I think, like, have you listened about the isometric training, like in which you loaded a carry and you
Yeah,
try your maximum, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like, does it? I think it also helps in developing your kinetic chain, right? Because am I
yeah.
right?
It can
Like,
do. Yeah, again,
uh,
it's understanding the type of training you need for the individual. Some people really thrive on isometric. Most of my players will do some form of isometrics. And
hmm.
you can just combine isometrics with med ball drills and get a hell of a workout. So again, we don't need a big gym. So yeah, there's always. But again,
We
it
need a
comes
big
back.
mind.
Yeah. Understanding of what you need is always the key.
Yeah, as you've stated that you don't need a big gym, just need a big mind,
Yeah,
right?
an open
And
mind.
actually,
Yeah,
the yeah, open mind and actually a curious mind, a mind not actually, like I have seen this, like modern generation people are here to like achieve something, not to learn something, like how their body works, how everything, because actually the one who are actually curious about the game will get the most results rather than who are just like here to attain something, because
yeah,
who are not able to attain something they will just cry if they don't get it right.
probably. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, sir. And sir, like have some little questions also. My
Okay.
question would be like that. See, like as if you are SNC trainer and you're helping a fast bowlers and like a lot of cricketers out there. So if someone have listened this podcast, right, and you want to give some three nuggets point to the to that player. which can eventually help them to elevate their career to the next level, especially as a cricketer. So, what would be those 3 points?
Well, like I spoke about quite a few times, understand your body and how you move. Make sure the training you're doing is right for you.
Hmm.
And is it a fast bowler or even a batter? Wow, the medicine ball is going to be your best friend. If you're not training with a medicine ball, or your team hasn't got one and you're not doing it in warm-ups, you're wasting your time. You're not wasting your time, you're just going to make life very hard for yourself. In cricket, it's hard enough, so you want to make life easier for you rather than harder. So yeah, assess your body, get the right plan, and just make sure your training is built for you and is making your life easier, not harder.
I understand. And so I want just little insight on that medicine ball. So you're saying that if you don't have medicine ball, you're wasting your time as a cricketer.
Well,
Like what? Why?
the medicine ball is the closest we can get to copying the bowling technique and implementing the technique we want to see, and then being able to transfer. It's so far ahead of Olympic lifts and these sorts of things. So they're crucial, absolutely crucial for that, but also for warm ups. We need them to warm up with, to actually activate. Swinging the arms around and doing a lap isn't going to help you, or stretching before a
Mm.
game is not going to help you. So, we need to understand how to warm up, and you know, you should have a med ball, and you should be with you at all times. My guys have what we call a bowling kit bag, which has got a med ball, a skipping rope, a couple of bands, and a few different things which they know that it's on them all the time. So it doesn't matter if the team hasn't got it; they've got their own kit that they know they can warm up with. So yeah, get yourself a medicine ball and just keep it with you and treasure it.
And does it apply to every player, like a batsman and
Yeah, 'cause you're still working a kinetic chain. You can be working on getting the hip through as a batter and using the med ball, but especially the bowlers. It's absolutely key.
okay, okay. And yeah, actually I got this point. And yeah, actually I think if someone actually listen this podcast, they can eventually get a lot of things from this podcast because um, we have talked about a lot of things. Just like we are saying that the most asked question is like that, I want to become a fast bowler, I want to perform at the high level, but I don't have the budget, right? Actually you don't have the budget, but you have the mind which is with you, but you're not using it, right?
Yeah,
You are using it with crying or like something else. So as Rosa mentioned that if you really want to improve something, if you really want to learn something, there is a lot of ocean of knowledge, especially present on internet. And actually, sir, one of the interesting part out there also, like people are also not aware about the usage of Chat GPT, right? You can start even using Chat GPT to understand thing in a very less way, right?
yeah, yeah. Again, you could just type anything into Google that you want to find out, and you'll probably
Yeah,
get there at some. But you might have to trawl through some rubbish, but you'll get there in the end.
yeah, definitely. So it's just like that. As a cricketer, we just need to look for more opportunity and look for more information. And one of the biggest point also that whenever you are looking for information, just be conscious about this thing, that from where you are getting the information. Because if the person is not right, if the person is actually someone who just want to earn money quickly, they will actually waste you a lot of time and energy, because they will get you
Yeah,
a lot of presents you a lot of injuries, right?
yeah,
So I think that's very important.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. So yeah, have a good look, and just like I said, make sure you look at the background of the person or the page, and make sure they've actually done something to help players rather than just copy information.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so thank you so much, Todd, sir,
Pleasure.
for this podcast. And actually, I'm saying it again. Thank you so much for the information that you're like presenting on like Instagram, YouTube also. But also, you are actually helping a lot of cricketers with your programs. So if anyone also want to get improve their fast bowling, you can contact Ross sir at Cricket Strength on Instagram. So actually, you can get a lot of um, improvement for yourself, right? As a fast bowler, as a batsman also. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so much, sir. And
pleasure.
we will be having more conversations like this, because actually I like this conversation a lot. And yeah, thank you so much, sir. And thank you so
Pleasure.
much, everyone, for listening to us. It was a pleasure to have you all, and we will definitely gonna do more podcasts like this. So thank you so much for listening to us, and please follow this podcast to get more of this. Thank you so much.